안녕하세요. 매일매일 운동하는 동탄 왕콩입니다. 오늘은 드디어 이 거실을 정리를 했습니다. 뒤에 옷들이 아직 널브러져 있지만 이 정도면 청소 다 한 겁니다. 로봇 청소기도 돌렸기 때문에 낮에 오늘은 스트레칭 위주로 해서 팔굽혀펴기 할게요. 회사에서 요즘에 자세를 너무 꾸부정하게 합니다. 이해를 하느라고 어쩔 수 없이 꾸부정하게 했는데 와가지고 여기 너무 아파. 다 먹고 같아가지고 스트레칭을 하고 팔굽혀펴기 하고 하는 식으로 할게요. 역시 운동할 땐 CNN이죠.
It's a really welcoming place, and that's become more true over the last 10 years. Especially in the coastal areas here in Masara, it's an incredibly international community.
Nosara's pristine beaches and legendary break also make it the ideal place to get your surf on.
We're really lucky here. We sit within a conservation zone, and that means that there's no development on the beach. When you walk out onto the beach and you look back, you just see a wall of green plants and trees, and that's beautiful.
If you're serious about becoming a surfer, then you want to sign up for surf school.
Those rails are specifically designed to kind of grab hold of the water and work in conjunction with the fins, so that we can kind of get some directional stability to the left and to the right as well.
Surf Simply has a different approach to teaching people how to surf. Our methodology is just totally different. We don't want a surfer just to stand up on a wave. We want them to know how to catch a wave, why to catch a wave.
All new African Voices Changemakers. Create opportunities. Impact communities. Transform lives. Designers tailor their crafts to empower disadvantaged communities.
I love to think of solutions. I love to add value. I'm always thinking of ways to address problems.
African Voices Changemakers on CNN.
China is celebrating the successful launch of a rocket that put a communication satellite into orbit on Friday. It's part of a project that started 18 years ago, and as our David Culver reports, it could position that country for a far more ambitious space mission.
China is soaring out of 2019 and into 2020, claiming a major achievement. Late Friday, the China National Space Administration launched its Long March 5 rocket into space. The powerful rocket is designed to carry up to 25 tons of payload into low orbit, but it is also seen as crucial to the future of China's space program.
From the space station to the mission to Mars, mission to the moon, all rely on this rocket.
At the Hong Kong Polytechnic University, Professor Alexander Wei watched Friday's launch a bit anxious. His team's research has contributed to an upcoming moon mission, an endeavor that will not happen until the Long March 5 is deemed successful.
All the missions that rely on this new rocket had to be on hold, waiting for this rocket to be functional.
Future missions were delayed more than 2 years because of this July 2017 failed launch of the Long March 5. It was not only a scientific setback, It also bruised egos.
In China's space program, first and foremost, as in any national space program, is about national pride and prestige.
China was late to the space race. It was not until the United States put the first man on the moon that China launched its first satellite into space. In the decades since, the country has pumped billions of dollars and other resources into training and research.
The other countries are definitely paying attention to the Chinese space program. China's made it clear they're in it for the long haul. They're in it for the long investment, and they've already marked up several successes, both in unmanned probes and in human spaceflight as well.
Earlier this year, China was the
와,
first
씨,
country to
중국은
land a
씨,
probe on the far side
로켓도
of the moon.
발사합니다. 씨.
The 2020s have them aiming for
Ah.
another moon mission, a manned space station, and a mission to Mars.
The Chinese are very ambitious, and if everything goes well, then we will see all these things coming along.
이제 나중 가면은
Leaving
차이가
past
화날 것
failures
같아.
behind, China now enters the new
과학기술
decade
때문에.
determined to reach new horizons. David Culver, CNN, Hong Kong.
Let's talk more about this now with Rajeshwari Rajagopalan. She is the head of the Nuclear and Space Policy Initiative at the Observer Research, as well as a senior Asian defense writer for The Diplomat. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's start by delving deeper into what China's ambitions may be with regards to space, as the United States now looking ahead toward Mars, China focusing in on the moon.
자, 일주일에 하루는 그냥 무조건 이렇게 스트레칭만 해야 될 것 같아요.
I think the moon missions are back in fashion, so to say. The number of countries, whether it is in Asia or even the US and other countries, wanting to do a lunar mission for a number of different reasons. One is to make it as a temporary base before you move on to undertake some interplanetary missions. That's one. A second and more important consideration has also been the resource politics, whether it is in terms of different minerals that are abundantly available on the moon, but also the presence of water. All of that has made moon a very attractive option. So the return to moon and the competition is picking up not just among states, but there are a number of private sector commercial players are also who are beginning to pay attention to the lunar missions in the coming years.
You mentioned that keyword competition. Let's talk just a bit more about that and how China views competition from the United States, specifically with regards to the Space Force. That will be the sixth branch of the U.S. military.
That's right.
China taking it very seriously.
Sure, absolutely. No, I think whatever you like it or not, whenever Trump does something, whether it's within the policy domain on security issues or even economic issues, it does raise a lot of attention. It does get a lot of media headlines. But I would only say that Trump's Space Force that has been established through the Space Policy Directive 4 is only the latest of the iterations by in a series of actions, actually. There have been a number of other countries who have taken such institutional measures prior to the Space Force coming into being. For instance, back in 2011, Russia reinvented its institutional mechanisms to come up with the Russian Space Force, its own version of the Russian Space Force. In 2015, China undertook major institutional changes to bring about the PLA Strategic Support Force, which is responsible for China's efforts in space, cyberspace, and electronic warfare. So bringing together a very combined and a very calculated effect on future warfare. So I think a number of different countries have done this already, and I don't think it should sort of surprise anybody that the US was going to do this. And secondly, the other important aspect is that this is more of a bringing together a lot more integration of the different functions to bring about better coordination among the different agencies. The Space Force is not really a fighting force, at least as of now. We are not seeing these specialized space agencies as combat forces. They are more in terms of bringing about better coordination, better integration, but we need to clearly take steps to avoid excessive militarization or the trend towards weaponization, so that we do not end up actually having a combat situation in outer space.
Well, you describe it in logical terms, but there is, as we saw in the last space race, that paranoia, that concern that other countries may have when they see one country doing something, they want to do the same. Are you essentially setting the stage here for what seems to be another space race?
Absolutely, and in late summer, you had France declaring that they are going to have a different space strategy. You had a few months ago Japan come out with a report saying that they are going to be investing money on a future interceptor system, and then at least in the next financial year. So clearly, the trend is where you're seeing that more and more countries are beginning to kind of use space in a much more conventional military operation sense. And I think that's that's a big difference that I see with the Cold War period of competition. During the Cold Wars, you had the US and the Soviets heavily investing in space, but they were using space primarily for strategic operations, as against today, where you are seeing the countries using space primarily a lot more for conventional military operations, because it does bring in conventional, operational as well as tactical advantages to countries using these assets. So there is a big difference in terms of the competition that you're seeing in the way space is being used. A third important aspect is that countries are actually moving away from. There has been some spurt in the rise of the return of anti-satellite capabilities, but with India, for instance, doing the anti-satellite test in March this year. But even so, I would say, because of the long-lasting debris being created as a result of anti-satellite tests, countries are also looking at other options. For instance, the cyber and electronic warfare mechanisms means to create disruption, temporary disruptions or permanent damage to satellites and satellite systems. So I think there are other ways, because those are also much cheaper options, much more accessible. It does give you a possibility of reliability to say that, it's not never very clear. Suppose you engage a country engaged in a cyber attack on a satellite system, it does not, at least in the immediate term, does not become very clear as to who has committed that particular attack. So I think the possibility of deniability and so on and so forth makes it a much more attractive an option. And jamming techniques are much easier. The technology required for jamming are easily accessible. One could buy it online for a couple of $100 actually. So these are also cheaper and more attractive options increasingly for a number of different states.
These are indeed emerging threats as some nations see them, and they're taking actions on them. Rajeshwari Rajagopalan, thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
In the United Kingdom, they are announcing some of the top honors for that nation, and they will be awarded in royal fashion. More on who's joining the coveted ranks of knights and dames, and how the Queen is involved in that. Stay with us.
Wherever you are in the world, Lotte is always close to you. Lotte will be with you throughout the world until the name Lotte is synonymous with friendship. Your lifetime friend, Lotte.
Transforming business, transforming communities, Dangote transformational projects, transforming Africa.
Is it a dream or reality that captivates me with its beauty? Since we arrived, I feel closer to life. And all these things are here to impress us with their beauty. The book of our lives gets filled with story. Spice of Europe, Budapest.
Another shot.
Yeah, the shields have gone back up again.
The calls for backup and none has arrived.
It's very nice to meet you. I wish you the best.
Welcome to Rwanda's fastest growing sport.
Let's play.
Imported less than 20 years ago by university students who had picked up the game in Kenya and Uganda. the sport of cricket has found a powerful new playing field here in Rwanda.
Well, I like to say that the story of Rwandan cricket is so much alike the story of Rwanda. The rebirth and the growth and the success.
Cricket in Rwanda is no longer just a sport. It is a lifestyle. It is just, it's a community, it's a family.
This field of dreams has become the heart and soul of an entire community, inspiring younger players and empowering women both on and off the field.
The sky's the limit for the women.
Grow your media business at 2454 Abu Dhabi, your gateway to the Middle East and North Africa. Enjoy 0% corporate tax, 30% cashback rebate on productions, a full suite of media services, and state-of-the-art facilities. With 0 license and registration fees for your first 2 years, our business development team will guide you through our simple setup process to get your business up and running. So get in on the action. Join us today.
More power, more speed, more innovation.
Formula E continues to blaze the trail towards our electric future. Join me, Nikki Shields, for the ride on CNN Supercharged.
As the sport gains momentum on and off the track, we travel the world to bring you electrifying races and show you the technology driving the latest in eco-friendly transport.
CNN Supercharged. Sunday in association with DHL. There will soon be dozens of new dames, knights, and other top honors awarded in Britain now that the UK has released its New Year's honours list. Among the new dames is singer and actress Olivia Newton-John, awarded not just for her work in entertainment, but also her charity work and her support of cancer research. Singer Elton John will also see his knighthood status elevated to Companion of Honor. And award-winning director Stephen McQueen, known for the 2013 movie 12 Years a Slave, is receiving a knighthood for services to art and film. It's not just celebrities, though, getting recognition. More than 1,000 people will receive honors. Many of them will be given by the Queen herself. And let's bring in now royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams to tell us more about this. Richard, good to be with you. What is the deal with this list? How do you get on it? What are the perks for being named?
Well, what happens is that we have a very complex system of honours. One of the great advantages is that there are grades in the system. 90% of the honours are the orders of the British Empire, and you go up several grades. There's always a certain amount of initiative and incentive. What you have also is either the Queen or another member of the royal family bestow this honour upon you in an investiture. So that very often is the highlight of the lives of many people. As you've mentioned, 1,100 new names, and what's very significant, and this has been a trend for some years, are 2 trends. Firstly, you tend to have, 70% have links with philanthropy, so they've done something for the community or for charity, as well as very often the main job, and that's important. And the other thing is, finally, there's gender equality almost. 51% of the honours are to women, 44% in the higher grades, so that is positive.
Were there any surprises? Either people who were named or those who were left off?
When it comes to surprises, there was a lot of speculation about Alison Saunders, who was, putting it mildly, very controversial as head of the department. He was the Department of Public Prosecutions, and not thought appropriate by many to be honoured. Very often the honours make, I think, an error here because they put a civil servant in who shouldn't be, or is controversial, and that tends to overshadow some of the list. For example, there were several of England's cricketers. The sporting honours, this used to be very erratic. Now, with all the triumphs, well, in the Olympic and Paralympic Games in recent years, this has been very much a triumph as far as Britain's concerned. I think that I would suggest some broadcasters, the names John Paxman, John Humphreys, and possibly Andrew Marr may not be international names, but I was surprised that they weren't there. I have been for some years. How about David Beckham getting a knighthood now? I mean, he is international, but there are all sorts of rumors about why he's had only an OBE, and that was in 2003.